Hi, everyone. My name is Samantha Vitia. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Natural History Museums of Los Angeles County. And today I'm joined by Jocelyn Ramirez, founder of Todo Verde and author of La Vida Verde. Thank you, Jocelyn, for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So just getting to know you a little bit more, can you tell us briefly about your history in Los Angeles?
Yeah, well, I am born and raised a native Angeleno that grew up in a Southeast LA suburb of Los Angeles, specifically Southgate. My parents still live in the same house that I grew up in. Growing up in that neighborhood, I went to private schools growing up because my brothers didn't do so well in the public school system, and my parents wanted to make sure that I got a good education, and really wanted to make sure that they tried their best in that route to getting me to college. And I was actually the first person in my whole family to go to college. And went to a school in Burbank, which is a liberal arts school, and have hopped around different neighborhoods throughout the city of Los Angeles, but have stayed here, really love this city. And also with the work that I do now with Todo Verde, is really still based in this sort of community of Los Angeles, and specifically thinking about East Side communities who need and should have more access to healthy plant-based foods. And so, in all of the work that I do, I'm constantly thinking about my neighbors, my community, and the city that I grew up in, that I hope to make better with the work that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, how do you build community?
Yeah, I mean, when we first started, I started at local farmers markets selling superfood smoothies, agua fresca. And really that was like the first step of building community, because, people see this small business that is run by a woman of color that looks like them, that is, selling a product that tastes like something maybe they grew up tasting, but has like a little twist to it. And so really it was a matter of like building the community there within the farmers market, and then starting to then beyond that build a community online via social media. And so a lot of the content that we put on our social media account, especially at the beginning, was really speaking to this like East Side community. All the photos that were featured were people of color from the East Side community, like people at our farmers market booths, that that became sort of a trend, is that like, oh, like if I'm on the picture, I'm going to be on your social media account. Like it just became the trend of like people starting to notice that this was like the POC, like little hub to talk about health and wellness, even if it was just at a little pop-up booth at farmers markets. And then over time, we've been able to even host events that are more conversations around like eating healthy plant-based foods. And so we've hosted like panel discussions with different folks who are doing similar work, or in line with our mission and values. Like a most recent panel discussion was navigating veganism in communities of color. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we've tried to do both like on an online platform, in person, and just trying to continue to build, so that people feel like, you may feel like me at the beginning when I decided to go plant-based, like kind of the odd one out in your family. But then it's really nice to meet up with people who are all kind of on the same page when it comes to the types of food that we want to eat and nourish ourselves with. And so that's a big part of the community that we're building.
That's really beautiful. And I've noticed, so Todo Verde has kind of pivoted with the new Safer at Home ordinances, and y'all have decided to now host sliding scale cooking classes. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit more about the decision behind that?
Yeah, so, as soon as the pandemic really started to become a bigger issue here in the US, as people were locking down and going into quarantine, a lot of people started to ask, oh, can you offer online cooking classes? And it took me a couple of weeks to settle into it, because, I was also trying to figure out how to shutter my business at the time to, temporarily like put us in a hiatus and make sure that my team was okay. And then I decided, yes, this is a good time to teach online cooking classes because people are home right now. People are cooking more now than ever. And people are also more curious about plant-based eating at this time because I think that they want to do something that feels a little bit more, maybe more like nutritious, maybe helps them feel a little bit healthier, a little bit more energetic. And so, teaching these online cooking classes not only teaches them like plant-based recipes, but also recipes that feel culturally relevant. So people are still learning how to make like ceviches, pozoles. This weekend we're doing tamales, tacos al pastor. I think that people really identify with that. And now that La Vida Verde has published and is now available to folks, it's also cool for people to, interact with me as they cook the recipes, because they can easily unmute themselves and ask questions and make sure that they're, they have me there every step of the way, essentially, which is another cool perk of the online classes.
What an accessible resource. That's really awesome. And lastly, we'd love to know a little bit more about, you mentioned you're a native Angeleno, almost like a sense of responsibility to your community by providing these sliding scale courses. What does being an Angeleno mean to you?
Yeah, and I didn't even mention the pay what you can model, but I mean the reason that I wanted to do that for the online cooking classes is really because a lot of people lost their jobs, including my team, myself included. We lost a lot of work, and I wanted to make sure that people still felt included in this process. That if they could pay, $1, $4, some people are paying $20. Like the range is like vast. Some people can't pay anything, and that's perfectly okay. I just wanted to make sure that everyone feels like I can still attend this class and start to create at my home or in my home. And then, really thinking to like this concept of being like a native, an LA native, to me does feel like a big responsibility, as people, move into Los Angeles and California who are not natives to this place. You're seeing your community feel left out, pushed out. And I think that it's important for us to create spaces that are placekeeping. Like we're creating a space for ourselves that feels relevant and important, that become hubs for the community, whether they're virtual or in person. And we need to take up more of that space. And we also need to, like, I always love this term of like convivir, like share our lives together. Because I think, as we become more a part of this like digital age, it's easy for us to disconnect in like personal activities. And so, it's important for us to come together and like share our knowledge together, share our skills together, and continue to grow as like a strong community.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jocelyn, for spending time with us today. Where can folks find you? How can they support?
Yeah, so right now what they could do is if you're on Instagram, you can just follow at Todo Verde, or you can check out our website, todoverde.org, and then you'll see the link for the online classes, the cookbook, and as things get a little bit better here in Los Angeles, we'll slowly start to roll out our pickup and delivery services for some of our meal kits, which we're planning on right now. So hopefully they'll be out shortly.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much.